Judgment time. The safe cracker trying to find the combination for group number 9. If he gets a result here against Jimmy Croxton, he is through. Shane Thompson needs just a win or a draw. 20 minutes back on the match clock. If Jimmy Croxton wins, these two will stay out there and will bring out Dylan Leary as well for a 3-way 6-red shootout. The safe cracker's under it, and that is far from the ideal start.
Control of the break just deserted Shane a little bit. Was good in the first match, but not so good second, and not a good start here. And you have to say, the way Jimmy started tonight, he couldn't have hoped for a better situation than this, really, in terms of he still has destiny in his own hands. If he wins this match, he knows he's in a 6-red, and it's down to how quick a time he can set. And when you lose your first match, especially when he wasn't really at the races in the first match, it's exactly what he could have hoped for.
Yeah, Andy Williams is now eliminated. No points from 3. Found an interesting little stat just off air there, Simon, when we were discussing that. It's a tough night for Andy. It is, well, it floors yours.
It does, yeah. I mean, seven off the break against him in the last 8 frames he played, so he only played a shot other than the break from 1 frame. To be fair, when he came to the table in that frame, he was just horrible every time. But I just spoke to Andy just briefly in the break there, and you know, he said, look, I played bad in the first match, and it came back to bite me, and that happens in this game, and move on.
Yeah, it's a good attitude to have.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy's deep into this visit without solving his problem, and that was probably the ball he was going to try and do it with. And considering how good an opportunity this was, he is not where he wants to be.
Could he maybe do it off the ball he's closest to, though, if he goes top right?
Yeah, it's not ideal, though.
He's actually gone off the middle. That's quite nice.
Plays it off the yellow instead.
Yeah.
Well worked out from Jimmy.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good result. Looks happy enough. Yeah, you got to be pretty happy with this. Shane Thompson scratches off the break. Jimmy Croxton comes in to punish him. Very tidily. 1-0. And when we speak to plenty of players who have been in Shane's shoes, having won 2 matches and knowing that their final match of the night, they just need something. We've spoken to plenty of players who tell us that's a very strange experience. Not often as a player in many formats do you have something to lose before you've even struck a ball. Shane Thompson has that.
Strange pressure. I have to say the standard of tonight is ramped up. The first 2 matches were a little bit scratchy. Since then, I think 11 of the next 14 frames are all clearances from the break. I standard all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's really levelled up. I think both these two, particularly in their second round matches, did that. Oh, you lucky boy, Jimmy. Is he going to make a ball too? Yeah.
When you hit it as bad as that, of course you do. Nearly jumps the cue ball off the table. All eyes on the cue ball here. Oh. I've been saying all night long, he's breaking with a bounce.
Shane's face in that back corner.
Yeah, because it's not just the making a ball off the break. Look at the split as well.
As soon as that ball stayed on the table, Shane gave it a bit of the shake of the head. And Jimmy, as I mentioned earlier, is the sort of player who can make your life very, very difficult.
Yeah, the other thing to factor in for Shane as well is that he has a love-hate relationship with a 6-red shootout, as in a lot more hate than love. He's had, because he's been so good with Ultimate Pool, he's been involved in so many more of them than a lot of players have, and he's had some tough losses in them. Oh, Jimmy, what have you done?
Oh, that's a terrible shot. He's already pulled a rabbit out of the hat tonight, Jimmy Croxton. He needs to do so again.
He should make this yellow. It's just whether he can get out from there. Because even if he's on the one along the bottom cushion, that last yellow is going to be tough. And you can't take the one to the left centre now. You can't get on the one at the bottom. So he has to just drop this in and accept bad position on that last yellow.
Well, 2 out of 4 to pull the rabbit. He's still got a long way to go. Don't think this sneaks into the right middle. Or does it? No, it will go long. Oh, it stays
wow.
up.
Jimmy was walking. He cannot believe that. I have to say, when he hit that, I thought it was wide. But then when he started walking around, he thought, well, that's in. Amazing.
Yeah.
So Shane is thinking, how can he deal with the yellow? Is there a loss of turn available? A quick look at it again. Shane has just played to safety while we look at this replay.
Yeah, it threatened, didn't it?
This is a risk from Shane.
It's
Jimmy's
a big
very
risk.
good at his angles, but the ball will slide on this angle here. And it has slid.
I mean, look how much that slid.
Yeah. And now Shane's going to play that delicate loss of turn. He could play the combination shot. He could play the red-yellow and back himself to go. But I think he's more likely just to play... How is he trying to get this one and then play the loss of turn?
I quite like that, actually.
I don't know. I'd like to be quite close to it because you've got to make sure you get the snooker on the 8-ball.
I think he's given himself an angle here, though, where he's pretty much guaranteed to have a decent shot at this next one.
Yeah, backing himself to make that one and getting to here and playing the shot from here. Just have to make sure you hide the 8-ball with the red. Which he has very nicely.
Yeah, that's lovely. I like that way around because that red was his only problem on the table, really.
But if he gets cue ball in hand, then he can put himself on that ball and they got the red over left centre and he can get away. I can understand why, because he's sort of saying, look, I fancy Jimmy to get out of this snooker and therefore wherever he leaves the cue ball, I should be really good here for the finish. So you can see why he's done it, and it makes sense now that he's made it.
Can Jimmy find a way out? No, that was tough. That was really tough. And we have to say, it's a problem of his own making, really. The only reason Shane came to the table was because Jimmy missed, and the only reason Jimmy missed is because he ran out of position on what was a really routine clearance for his standards. Didn't look like coming either. He's been in fantastic shape for the last, what, 5 or 6 frames he's been at the table.
Yeah, and being ultra critical about Jimmy Croxton, he'll probably look back at this frame and go, oh, I can't believe I missed that ball. I thought I made it. If that goes in, I'll win the frame, which is true, but your point is valid. He had a routine finish there for 2-0, and he's made a bit of a mess of it, and it required a big pot to the top right corner to get himself out of trouble, which he didn't make on this occasion. And you can't always make those recovery pots. I don't care how good you are. So if he looks back on this frame, he should look back on the positional mistake rather than the missed pot. And I question how much Jimmy does that, because he backs his potting so much. I mean, Shane Thompson's a prime example. He's won his 4 titles, certainly the first 3 in the opening season, through just exceptional cue ball control. Number of finishes he made without playing any sort of tough pot.
Mark of a good player. Last few shots of a visit, you feel like, oh, I could make these.
Yeah, he just doesn't leave himself tough pots.
Artistry is all in what he does with the cue ball and the route that he picks. It's very, very difficult to do. Let's have another look at the miss from Jimmy Croxton. It was a very tough shot. And he almost got out of dodge. How close this is almost threatens to drop over the lip of the pocket, just rests up.
I mean, Jimmy's argument will be, look, if you give me that shot on every frame, I back myself to make it, and therefore I'm going to win nearly every frame I play. But you can't always make those big pots, and it's the cue ball control that let him down on that frame for me, not the missed pot to the top corner, which obviously ended the visit.
Very interesting match developing then. We're past the halfway point, less than 10 to play. Thompson back on the break. Oh, that time he has flushed it. And these are the sorts of finishes that he likes. I say that he likes.
That he's good at.
Yeah, he probably doesn't love them, but he's exceptionally good at them. And the sort of finishes where maybe not everyone who comes to the table, you're thinking, oh yeah, I fancy them for this. But these are the sorts of finishes which Shane has made a real track record of taking out over the last couple of years. These are tough though, make no mistake. Tricky little route.
It is. There is only one really bad ball on the table though, and that's the one sort of top of the triangle area. That was a tough opening positional shot. All that raving about Shane's positional play, and he gets that one all wrong.
He's only probably about a fraction off it being fine though. It's come back off the right at the edge of the knuckle. Has he got a recovery shot? Wasn't a bad effort. He has left it though, I think. So then the question becomes, what can Jimmy do about that yellow at the top of the table? Because that is a bad ball. Make no mistake.
Should be able to give himself an angle to go into it fairly easily. Thought he might try to give himself an angle there, but no efforts to do so. For me, it's one of those you want to go into as early as you can, guarantee being on a ball, have as many options as possible. Not a good angle this time either, so he's still not quite got it. The longer you leave it, the harder it gets. This time he has the angle. There's only two balls he can be on, the one he's trying to develop or the one at the bottom of the table. Okay, the one at the bottom is close to a pocket, so there's every chance he's on it. He hasn't quite nudged on the yellow as much as he wanted to. Now the positional play needs to be perfect.
Yeah, it's quite a narrow window. You can see right there the gap that Jimmy has to hit is pretty small. He's even thinking about coming all the way around.
I like this angle. That's very nice.
Oh, lovely.
I like, I mean, it may not be quite the cannon he was playing for, but I like the way he's gone into it from that angle, because if he gets it slightly narrower, comes off three cushions, catches the red on the cushion, he's on that yellow all the same, because it does go in the right centre pocket past the 8-ball as well. So he had options of being on that yellow with that line.
Uses the red to hold the cue ball. Very tidy little finish this from Jimmy Croxton. Pouncing on the Thompson mistake. I mentioned earlier, you don't tend to get many from the elite players, and when you do, you've got to take them. Jimmy does just that. This was lovely.
So I mean, if he catches the cushion first, he's got every chance of being on that yellow as well, one way or another. So I like the fact that he's gone into it that way, rather, because he was looking at picking a very, very small gap to play on it to the top left, but he basically had perfect or nothing. That way he had options, cannons that could go his way, more margin of error.
Less than 6 to play at the minute. As it stands, we're heading to a three-way 6-red shootout.
Must be a strange feeling for Dylan Leary watching on, needing another player's results to go his way. Oh, Jimmy, that break is getting a little bit loose on you. He hit that as bad as he's hit anything all night, and look what he's left. He's just left the frame begging to be reverse cleared here.
Shane's reaction is an absolute picture. He was fully expecting a ball to go down there after Jimmy nearly took it off the table twice.
Well, Jimmy said to me in the interview at the start of the night and off air, he's been working very hard on his break. From what we've seen from him tonight, I think he needs to work on it a little bit more as well. He's been very, very loose with that cue ball. It's the problem, though, when you are trying to ramp up power, because you want to give yourself every opportunity. You can lose that cue ball, so it's a fine line. He'll keep working on it, though. He'll find it. Should cost him this frame, though.
Yeah, he'd be almost mortified if it didn't for Shane Thompson here.
Bit of a stretch for Shane, this one. Simple enough shot for him, though.
We're level again. 2-2. Less than 4 to play this next frame. Absolutely massive. One final reminder. For next week's group in the Ultimate Pool Champions League, Christophe Lambert and Sean Chipperfield, the headline attractions. And Lee Anderson and Luke Sanjeev looking to make a splash for the first time under the Ultimate Pool banner. Great group, that one. Really looking forward to it. It's going to have a pretty good group to live up to, Minds. This is really heated up nicely. Started a little bit sleepily this evening, but goodness me, Group 9 has come to the party. Shane Thompson on the cut break. He's had enough. 8 ball in motion. Has he made a ball? No. No, he has not.
Yeah,
3:45. Keep an eye on that match clock. It's now massive.
The odds of a 6 red shootout have just shortened here. These reds look to just begging to be cleared up, and Jimmy would have the break in the next frame with the clock almost gone if he makes these. Just got to hold himself steady. For me, try and get on that one nearest the bottom left-hand corner as early as you can. Question, what are you going to play on afterwards?
Well, he has his extension. Oh, that's not the best shot.
He played on it there. He just got way too much side on that one.
15-second shot clock now very much in play as well. So very much because it's going to have a big impact on this frame, you feel. Jimmy misses. Can Shane hit?
The yellows aren't good at the bottom left-hand side of the table, but he'll be thrilled to come to the table. He would have feared the worst when he saw that layout.
Oh, I love that.
Has it just feathered it on? I think it has. Is the angle any good to knock the other one out, or is it a glancing blow on the one to the left? Because if it's a glancing blow, it won't knock it on. He's hitting it thick enough.
Shade under 2 minutes remaining. Oh, that's such a good shot. His next one's tough, though.
Yeah, he just stuck on this ball. I think it went to the bottom corner. I think he could have done with sliding by it. 2 shots ago, he was playing on the one to right centre, didn't land on it, and that's why he's where he is here. So he plays the... He was trying to play the combination there, but it was more of a loss of turn shot, leaving a safe white. But he has left one up the table. Well,
now the next 90 seconds are massive. This may well be our final frame of the evening.
Jimmy backs his potting. He needs it here.
He needed it.
He may well still get one more chance, though.
Shane Thompson needs to use all the clock here. Felt like he was almost waiting for the beeps there, and they didn't quite appear, so just struck it anyway.
And he's left himself a poor angle, I think. He's too straight here. He's got to really force this to get across to the right hand, sort of almost on the break line. Yeah, he just got enough. Just got enough. Don't know whether that 8 ball slides into the top right. If it doesn't, then he's got a real problem. And it's about using as much of the clock up as he can in the next 2 shots.
He could have used a little bit more. Will it cost him?
Still don't know if it goes.
We're about to find out.
He's eyed up. He's eyed it up. It does go. It squeezes in. This is effectively for the win.
It does indeed go. Massive frame won by Shane Thompson. Clock stops with 18 seconds to go. He has 1 foot in the next stage. Jimmy Croxton knows that it will need to be a golden break to deny him. We've not seen anyone go quite anywhere near 18 seconds for a full clearance. It will have to be the golden break. Jimmy knows it.
He needs the golden break and the golden duck, though, because he's got to win the match. So
yeah, of course.
Shane knows him. He's all but everything into the next round.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Jimmy could have a pretty good speed ball attempt here, but that's why 18 seconds is pretty impossible. But he gave it a decent go, nevertheless. Shane Thompson is through to the next stage of the Ultimate Pool Champions League. As the Joker shows that he wouldn't have needed too much longer. Shane Thompson is in. The safe cracker has the combination for group number 9.